When using the water-fed pole method, it's important you get your pure water right. So in this video I'm going to show you how I make pure water to clean windows. The first thing I had to do was test my water for the TDS levels, so I had to find out from a soft water or hard water area. If you live in an area where it's 60 parts per million or under, you need DI, and if you're over 60 parts per million, then you're going to need reverse osmosis. I also had to work out what my water pressure was from my house. If it's under 50 psi, you're going to need a booster pump. If where you live you've got over 300 parts per million, then one thing you're going to need to add to your system is a water softener. What the water softener does is it helps protect the membrane on the RO filter system. The membrane does about 90 to 99% of the work of making pure water, and it's also an expensive part to replace. Because my tap water is 260 parts per million, this was causing problems with the membrane. The membrane itself should last between 3 to 5 years, and I was having to replace mine every year. This all changed once I had the water softener installed. The water softener is definitely worth it. It runs on a resin, but it's a different type of resin from the DI. This resin, when it depletes, needs to be regenerated. And what it uses is salt granules or salt tablets like you use in your dishwasher. And you can have the machine, because mine's on automatic rather than manual. When it detects that the resin's depleted, it will automatically regenerate itself. This machine also, though, can be done manually. And it's quite simple. You just press the R button, hold it in until the cycle starts. And the cycle will take about 30 minutes to regenerate the resin, and then it'll continue making soft water. After the tap water's been through my water softener, it's going to move on to the next stage, which is my RO and DI, which is a 4-stage filtration system. The system I have here is from X-Line, and it's a 2,000 gallons per day or 9,500 litres per day capacity at producing pure water. And of course, this is if it's under ideal conditions, otherwise this will be affected. I've also got a static system, which means whilst my van's out working, this will be producing pure water and filling up a holding tank. What this means is if in my van I run out of water, I can pop home using a transfer hose and a submersible pump, which I'll talk about later on in the video. I can quickly fill up my van and then get back out on the road working, earning money again. This system can come mounted on the tank inside your van, but the problem here is if I was to run out of water and go home, I'd have to wait for my system to produce pure water and slowly fill up my tank in the van. And obviously this is going to cost me time and money. To help protect the membrane, the water's got to go through my pre-filters. In tap water, there's stuff that's floating around that can still harm the membrane. And what we've got here is a paper filter, and this captures all the large particles. Once it's gone through the paper filter, it's going to go through the second filter, and this one is carbon. What the carbon does is it protects the membrane against damage from chlorine and other chemicals that are in water. And you'll see here on the left, here's the paper and here's the carbon pre-filters which go inside the containers. Once the water's gone through the pre-filters, it's then going to pass through the membrane. It's 90 to 99% of the work of making pure water. After the water's gone through the RO, it's then got to pass through the DI filter. This polishes the water down and gets rid of the last little bits of TDS to give us 0 parts per million, which is pure water. Inside the DI vessel is resin. This resin is mixed bed resin. When this runs out, it doesn't get regenerated like the ones in the water softener. We have to take out the old resin and replace it with the new. On my system, I have here fitted an inline TDS meter, so I can take readings of the TDS during the filtration process. What you're going to see here is me turning it on, and I'm pressing the button for in, and it's going to give us a reading in parts per million of the water coming out of the RO membrane. And you can see from here that I've got 260 parts per million as it comes out of me tap. Once it's gone through the reverse osmosis membrane, it's been knocked down to 12 parts per million. This figure will change. Sometimes I get readings as low as 6 parts per million and sometimes as high as 20 parts per million. I can also press another button, and this gives me a reading in parts per million of the water after it's come out of the DI phase. And you can see here, because I've recently changed the resin, that it's coming out at 0 parts per million, which is exactly what we want. However, the resin is going to wear down after time, and my TDS levels are going to start creeping up. When I get to 0.04 parts per million, this is when I carry out a change of the resin in the DI filter. Here I have a holding tank, which is an IBC tank, and it can hold 1,000 litres of pure water. To get the water from my holding tank and into the tank in the back of my van, I use a submersible pump. The system I have is all automated, so a lot of it is all done for me. What you can see here is a float valve. So when it detects the water level drop in the holding tank, it's going to turn on my machine. Once the machine is detecting my water levels dropped, it's going to go onto a fill cycle. This fill cycle will last for 2 minutes. What it does is it flushes out the RO membrane to help protect the life on it. This 2-minute fill cycle will also continue every hour. For every hour that passes of water production, the system's going to go into another 2-minute fill cycle and flushing out the RO membrane to help protect it. Once the 2-minute fill cycle's over, the system's going to demand water coming in to the membrane. What I've got here is an automatic booster pump. Because my water pressure from my house is pretty poor, it's about 30 psi, I need the booster pump to keep the pressure going into my membrane at an efficient level. The low pressure membrane I have in mine needs between 60 and 90 psi to work efficiently. So this booster pump will kick in and it actually gets my psi up to 90, which is perfect for my membrane and gives me a good production rate at making pure water. Once the system's finished or the float switch has detected the water level to being full, it will turn all the machine off, or whenever the machine goes into a fill cycle, it will turn off the booster pump, because otherwise the booster pump would actually burn out. This is perfect for me being all automatic, because like I said, it allows me to be out working and the machine is just looking after itself. The submersible pump that I use is made by Titan. I buy it from Screwfix. It's about £80 to £87. It's a 750 watt clean and dirty water submersible pump. It can pump out 250 litres per minute, which is perfect for me filling up a 500 litre tank. It gets me out very quickly back on the road. If you like the video, why not give us a thumbs up? If you've got any questions, then please put them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. If you're new here, why not consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell icon to stay notified of any new videos. Look forward to seeing the next video. Bye for now.